Hi, my name is Shawn Shaler. That's my friend Chris, the Objective Geek of YouTube and Twitter, and we're here today with a very special episode, at least in my opinion, because I like YouTube clickbait. I don't know about you, but that's exactly what this is. It's some good YouTube clickbait, because we're going to do the top 10 episodes of Avatar: The Last Airbender, Book 3 Fire. It is worth a note before we get started that it's not like us arbitrarily coming up with this list after the fact. Like, we're holding ourselves accountable to the ratings that we take every single time, and now we have to put them up for everybody to see. And, well, Chris won't feel stupid, but some of mine look pretty stupid, and you own that, and then you get the top 10 list that we're going to look at right here. I'm not too ashamed of any. There's one of them that'll make you raise your eyebrows a little bit. But, yeah, that's really it. Top 10 episodes, because we are done with Book 3. It's very exciting. Have a couple plans for more like this in the future, but I don't know why I mentioned that just now, because I don't care about those right now. Chris, anything you want to say before we get started?
No, I do think we will do an episode ranking every episode of Avatar: Last Airbender from worst to best. Yes, I'm excited for that, because that's a very definitive ranking. No one else would do that. No one else has the guts to do that. And then also, because that will also rank every single season. So.
Oh, yeah, I forgot we're going to average those out. And at one point in time, we were having discussions about whether Season 2 was better than Season 3. Was that part of the... Okay. And so we'll get some kind of average there. That'll be fun. It'll be a good time. And then, we will do it, and I can't stress enough that it's not like we get to sit down and have these discussions like, no, we got these numbers saved in a spreadsheet, and we can't change them. I mean, we could, but we have integrity, so we're not going to do that. That's very exciting. But today we're going to give you a soft lead-in to that with our top 10 Book 3 episodes individually, and then aggregate at the end. Gonna do a serpentine, go back and forth. I will start first, because I had to check to see who went first. My number 10 was The Painted Lady. Tremendous episode. I don't know how much I want to say about each of these individual episodes, but a glorious, well-deserved one-off episode for Katara, kind of unlike any that she had had since the first season.
Yeah, I don't know where these lists go off as. I don't know if the Pain Lady's even on mine or not.
Oh,
but yeah,
that's
really
true.
Good,
that's a great point to bring up.
Episode.
I get the benefit of seeing it because I put them in there, but yeah, it will totally be all brand new to Chris. So, Chris, I won't expect you to comment on anything that I comment on in that case. Let's just go to your number 10.
I'll just disagree with you.
No, you'd be like, Shawn, that's dumb.
The Western Air Temple made number 10, huh? Wonder why must have really good... I think it was really good Zuko stuff in that episode. Also just really great interaction. And it was one of the most memorable ones for me, because my daughter loves that episode, because it's the one with the frog and Zuko, and the frog jumps on Zuko's head, I think. Mm-hmm. Somewhere, she cracks up. She loses her stuff every time.
It's important to remember in this one, Chris, is that there are 2 episodes that we ranked as one that have 2 each, and then 1 episode we ranked that had 4 episodes inside of it. So inside of our top 10, there's actually 15 out of the 21 episodes. Yeah. So it is, I
forget that. Yeah.
It seems, but it's still good. I would say that we were both big fans of these episodes. There's not too many real bad ones in Book 3, in my opinion.
All right, number 9, the Firebending Masters, which I have a feeling this is higher on your list than mine list. But yeah, this was a pretty good episode. It was fairly... I feel like I want to say it's fairly inconsequential, but there's so much stuff about Iroh that we learned in this episode.
Fairly inconsequential, Chris. We learned so many things. I'm offended.
If Zuko just still could firebend, everything would keep going. There's good stuff there with Aang.
It's not a could still, Chris. He learns to firebend the right way before.
That's true.
He changed right here. I don't know why I'm defending. I don't remember where. I know it's in my list, but I don't really remember where.
There were some great visuals with the dragons for the most part. That was the thing that stood out the most to me in this episode.
And I do like dragons. I don't know if you can see it. I put Serpentera from Power Rangers over here. And then also a 1980s 2-foot tall Godzilla also is fighting Serpentera for control of Hogwarts. So I'm a big fan of dragons.
Ooh.
It's very exciting. I don't know why I brought him to my house. I really just wanted him. My number 9, little low, maybe in your opinion, but the Boiling Rock, I really liked the episode.
Shawn,
it's a good big story. I dinged it pretty hard because the first episode, like, honestly, nothing happens of consequence in the first episode. By the end, it's a wash. So I got dinged pretty hard. But again, still it's number 9 here. It's really good, and I had good high ratings on it. I want to say already at this point in time, we're into like the 8.5s or so on ratings. Forgive me, I don't know the exact scores. Number 8, Western Air Temple. You already said it. It's good. Mostly good Zuko moments and good dialogue stands out to me as well. Oh, hey.
Yeah, so Painted Lady was number 8 for me. It was number 10 for you, correct? This was a really great Katara episode. I mean, she delivers probably my favorite line from the series of like, I will never ever turn my back on people who need me. And it's just so Katara. It's so much of that character. I think this is a better Katara episode than the Waterbending Master episode in book 1. Like this, to me, this informs the character Katara so much more than that one does. And that's a very good Katara episode.
It informs Katara more. At a bare minimum, it shows some of her arc of like going from sort of a raw, I don't know, just kind of a raw weapon who, yeah, she was a great waterbender already at that time, but like now she's really directing it and channeling it and making these very difficult decisions, having a big impact on the whole team. So I feel like it demonstrates a lot of growth as well. It's just a good standalone episode, too. My bad.
Also, what's interesting about this episode is that you would think the character from there who would want to help out a Fire Nation village would be like Aang. But no, it's Katara. You know, Katara has like harbored hard feelings towards the Fire Nation, since episode 1, and she's out here helping them.
It's hitting me in the feels right now. I'm a little surprised looking at this now that I ranked the Western Air Temple higher, but it could have been, let's be honest, it could have been a 10th of a point or something. At least I think we're in the 8.4s, give or take right now. 8.4s, 8.5s.
Ooh, the Puppet Master. Another good Katara episode here. Really good. Hama is like, we talked about, we talk about how this show is so political. Hama is what happens when you take out that frustration on your oppressors, right? Like, we mentioned before in previous podcasts or in a future, whatever this podcast was, that, Mike says he doesn't condone violence, but you got to understand where people are coming from. You got to understand where the oppressed is coming from. And he's definitely not condoning it here. And Hama, I just love her dialogue of like, we have to take them out by any means necessary, Katara. Like, she's gone. That's what evil does if you'll let it kind of consume you.
I'm gonna go ahead and put mine up here just so we can discuss as a pair.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, this worked out pretty well. It's probably Hama's definitely bad, but for a kid's show, again, for a children's show, it does a really good job of trying to put something like real in front of you. Like, she's not supposed to be the bad person, and it makes you, I don't know, it kind of makes you eat it with this episode a little bit and have to swallow some of that difficult decisions and the life she's been through, and you want to feel bad for her, but she's kind of an awful old witch. Between that and the Painted Lady, we got, Katara helping the Fire Nation, Hama being a bad person. Like, let's start to get some good character dynamic, like real life, not just the plain old. I'm trying to think, like when video games do the good and evil, like the Fable video games, where there's always one clearly bad choice and always one clearly good choice. Like, no, we're getting into some good blend here, and that's much harder to do than you would imagine in a kid's show.
And I think I probably also bumped this episode up because of the audio visual with the audio of the voice actress Tress McNeil. Who did a great job voicing Hama. She's a legend in the animation game.
2 names that I won't forget because of this podcast, because of what they mean to me in other shows that I didn't connect before I started talking to you, would be Tress McNeil and Grey Delisle. I will probably never. Yeah. There's other ones too, like Janet Varney we talk about a lot, and she's actually spoken to you on Twitter, and that's really cool. But she just doesn't have the same impact on like other stuff that I watched throughout my childhood. I don't think. What else does Janet Varney do?
She's on a couple live action shows.
But
she's done no other voice work, I'm pretty sure.
Tress and
she's like 30 something. She's not old.
So she hasn't been around for those kinds.
Yeah.
Thanks for saying 30 something's not old. I appreciate that. But Tress MacNeille and Grey DeLisle, I know it. Sometimes I run after work and it hurts, and I think this is 30s. That's where it starts. 6, the Avatar and the Firelord. I had to wiki this one to see. I couldn't really remember what happened, and it's the one with all the dreams, with the wacky dreams and the different, making fun of the different anime.
No, this is the one with that's Nightmares and Daydreams.
Yeah,
this is the flashback of Roku. It's about Roku and SOZIN.
Oh, okay, gotcha. And well, either way, I was kind of surprised I had it so high. Maybe it's just because it's such a telling, important story for the rest of the show's arc. I don't know. It caught me off guard when I saw I had it at number 6. I don't have anything bad to say about it. I just couldn't remember what happened in there, and no real action points I can think of to talk about. I mean, I'm going to spoil it. I think it shows up on your list fairly soon, so hopefully you've got more interesting things to say about it.
Number 6, The Beach, which I'm sure is absolutely not on your list, Shawn. Especially not in your top 5.
It ranked. I rated it so poorly that it wasn't even close to scratching the top 10 aggregate. And keep in mind, the top 10 aggregate is really like out of 15 total.
Yeah.
I hate this episode so much.
The Beach is such a good episode. I'm glad that we had Jamie on for that episode. I learned a lot about myself in that episode.
Jamie's ratings were closer to mine than yours. Jamie's feelings were closer to yours than... She did that thing that I do sometime where when you know something's bad but you like it anyways, and so you can kind of separate those two. She pulled that one on us.
Well, it's not bad.
It is bad.
I mean, oh gosh. And I think about the episode's so good.
If you were into Avatar,
amazing.
If you were into Avatar and you just turn the TV on one day and you're kind of into cartoons, you scroll, you see this episode,
you love it.
You
love it. You absolutely love it. Okay, there's a lot. There's a lot going on in this episode. Actually, it's not just hey, let's go to the beach type of deal. Let's party it up.
All I can think of is Chan, and I just get mad because Chan exists.
There's so much good Zuko stuff here in the audio visual. I mean, that scene where Zuko goes down to the beach and the music is playing, and he's looking at pictures of himself. He's having flashbacks to simpler, more happy times, and he's just there. And then Azula is actually nice to him. Like, she checks in on him. It's such a beautiful scene. Like, the lighting everything is great in that. And then when they're actually at the beach, and and Zuko's talking about his issues, and then they're all having their... We really only care about May and Zuko's story and their issues that really frames their character. And I talked about how May is so kind of closed off, and she's monotone because if she ever acted up or made a scene or anything, her parents shut her down quickly, and how I related to that. And I learned man, that's the way. Is that why I am the way I am sometimes? I have wonderful parents, don't get me wrong. I love my parents. Great.
No, that's okay. I took the Tylee route, if you'll remember.
You
said you identified with me, and I was more of a Tylee. Other than being acrobatic and athletic, but the rest of it.
Yeah. But Beach is a great episode. I can't recommend The Beach enough. I will admit I feel like you either love it or you don't like it.
You have to see. I would not say it's a bad episode. I have probably said it, but I shouldn't say it because it's not a bad episode. But when you see it, for me, it's just because you have to. You have to take in that information, and there's information there that you can't get anywhere else in the show, and it kind of fits where it needs to fit, in this story, but like for me, it's always a have to. Whatever, it's fine. It's fine. Just gonna skip ahead to the next one.
Southern Raiders. Another Katara had like 3 really good episodes this season, which I haven't really thought about much. That's the Southern Raiders, the Puppet Master, and the Painted Lady. 3 really good Katara episodes. And this one, you know, she uses that blood bending that she was so afraid to use of before in the Puppet Master. But you know, this one we get good flashbacks, some really dark, heavy stuff here in this episode. Katara is dealing with, should I kill the man who killed my mother or not? And the ending there it's such a realistic ending, which I one of the things I love most about Brian and Mike. I feel like they don't deal with cliches. Like the cliche would be like Katara not killing her mother's killer, being like, I found the strength not to do it, Aang. I will forgive him. Like that's a cliche after school type of deal. But she's like, I didn't kill him. I don't know if it's because I'm strong enough not to kill him, or it's because I'm weak enough that I couldn't. Like that's such a realistic thing. Like she doesn't know. She's not for sure, which says a lot about that character.
I just want to point out this one was like my number 11, and it was pretty close. So it didn't make my list, but not for like a slight. It was just a hair off. Here's one that didn't make your list. The Ember Island Players. This is the first one where I thought to myself, number 5. It's like, this is where you start, like, the most telling
number 5
difference that we have as humans and in the way that we watch Avatar. Number 5 represents that for us. And what number 5?
It's a great divide, Sean. It's a great divide.
You got me making, like, I wasn't serious at first, but every time you say it, I'm like, maybe he wants me to change the name.
No, I don't. But it's a running joke now.
Number 5 kind of takes a trope that is difficult to deal with in TV shows, and it makes fun of it in a very meta way, like in a community caliber way, if I may. It's meta, it's self-aware, it's goofy, and that just happens to be my favorite type of TV show, even if I don't like these, whatever you call them, the recap episodes. I think they did it as well as could possibly be done in this show. I think they knocked it out of the park, and they still delivered some important information and messages in there. Number 4, I did Firebending Masters. I liked it quite a bit better than you because of dragons and Indiana Jones themes. And, you know, this is a good episode.
Okay, number 4, the Avatar and the Fire Lord. One thing, it's just great to see Roku, see a little bit more of his backstory. But really, this sets everything in motion. We finally learned how did the 100-Year War start. I would like if there was, if Sozin had a little bit more reason to spread the greatness of the Fire Nation. Like I will really, and this is one of the things that we could change with the live action, even though we talked about in the previous episode. I would really like that if, say, he visited the Earth Kingdom, he's like, you know, this place is poor and it's the slums, and it's like these people aren't living their best life they could be living. Like I can give them so much more. Yeah, they need me. That would have been a great start, because you know Roku would have been wrong to say no in that case, but he still would have said no because he's been told, hey, 4 nations supposed to be that, just 4. And then Aang says, like, you know, no, screw your old wisdom, Aang, Roku, which he says in the comics, and like then he can work with the Fire Nation. Would have made Roku look worse as an avatar, which I mean, he's already our worst avatar anyway.
By somebody's incorrect ordering based on tiebreakers. He's not that. Man, it is tough when it's his best friend, his lifelong buddy there. That's tough. I feel for the guy. I think that's a great add-in though, because then again you sort of humanized it. I'm glad you described it a little bit, because I honestly couldn't remember why I would have had this episode in my top 10. But when I'm thinking back, I also liked the dichotomy of Aang and Zuko learning the same things at the same time. Like from this point forth, their destinies are super duper hooked up together. So I'm thinking back, I did like that. But yeah, I don't think Roku would have told him no if he'd been presented your situation, and it would have been very humanizing and something that feels like it could really happen and really be a motivation. Maybe even a good intention one. In SOZIN'S case, probably not. But you could rationalize it, I guess is what I'm getting at, in a very real way. So I like that. Let's see that change in live action.
Yeah. It's funny because it's kind of like Kuvira. Like Kuvira in Legend of Korra, which we'll get to. Like the Earth Kingdom is in shambles, but she's not going to help out people unless they're like, yeah, we bow to you, great uniter. She's like, yeah, I have to rule you. If you want to be better off, I'm going to rule you. I can't just give you stuff for free. Like, I got to take control of that, make sure that all of these resources are being used to great effect.
All this stuff kind of makes me want to talk about the promise. It makes me look forward to that.
Yeah.
Get into the politics a bit.
Okay, number 3, the boiling rock. This episode has, to me, the most jaw-dropping moment of the whole series. Of just that one moment of Azula and May, and May has helped Zuko escape, and she's been captured by Fire Nation soldiers. And Azula's like, leave us. She's like, why do it? Like, you know the consequences. And May says, you miscalculated. I love Zuko more than I fear you. Azula, no, you miscalculated. You should have feared me more. And Azula's about to lightning strike at May. And May has her knives ready. And just when Azula's like by the lightning strike, she gets chi blocked by Ty Lee. That was a jaw-dropping moment. Like, she drops to the floor. That was Azula's downfall right there. Like, in this episode's so good at visually telling you the story. In that fight on the gondola, Azula's so measured. She's so in control. She's in control of like every single inch of her body. She's able to do a push-up off the edge of a gondola, hanging her feet in the air, hanging hundreds of feet in the air, and she's not at all sweating it. And then after that, things just go downhill. So great episode.
Broke her spirit. And kind of her brain a little bit. I had this. I had The Day of Black Sun. It's number 3. It is
never mind. That makes sense. That's interesting.
Well, this one might make sense, but my next one won't make sense to you. I had The Day of Black Sun, and I will save it because naturally you know it's going to show up on your list as well. And I'd like to talk about it as a group. First, I do have to get to what I consider an injustice on your part. It's too high on mine, but I'm sad it didn't show up on yours at all. It is SOKKA'S Master. It was like It was like 0.02 higher or something than Day of Black Sun. I love SOKKA'S Master. Iroh is my favorite character because he's supposed to be everybody's favorite character in that way. But the character to whom I relate the most is Sokka, and it's not close. There's no other comp for me. And I think I feel it the most in this episode here. And I love Master Pakku, and you start to get the sense of these individuals that are working towards something greater than national division, or I don't know what I'm trying to say there. You start to get a better sense of this, that some people have transcended the nonsense of their political divisions.
I'm sorry. I was reading a random notification from a YouTube video of mine of Isaka Suyin's father, and I feel sorry for you were over explaining your thing. I was listening, but also, they wrote. Honestly, I think she is Sokka's kid, and Toph didn't even know, because for what I understand, she was very sexually active. So she has like 30 options in her head. This is the funny part. And she is blind, so she can't see the resemblance.
Sometimes the truth hurts.
I don't know why I found this way. I'm sorry, keep going.
No, I think I'm good. I like this episode because I relate so strongly to Sokka, and it is probably the second best-ish, give or take, Sokka episode in the whole thing.
Man, number 2. Wow, yeah, that's high for me.
Number 2 is too... Well, it didn't make it on your list at all, and I was a little offended, but it was like your 12 or 13. Like, it was close.
It's a great episode. I love the moment of reveal that Iroh's working out. To me, that was the biggest moment of that episode. I remember watching the episode for the first time and rewinding it just to watch that part of Iroh, like, taking the apple and putting it in his mouth and then, like, undoing his like, robe and just hopping onto that bar, doing, a one-arm pull-up.
I just, anytime you get more Iroh, always a good thing. And then, there's times in our lives where all of us feel, like, not special, and that's when the Sokka, where we all hit our Sokka spots the hardest. And it's a great episode. Like I said, too high, but still a great episode. Let's talk Day of Black Sun.
Day of Black Sun. It's a great episode. It's the finale that you thought you might get.
It's
the thing about this episode is that the B plot to me is way more interesting than the A plot. The B plot is the Zuko confronting his dad, and that. We've talked about this before. That moment is so good. Like it's the ultimate moment of the abused standing up to their abuser, like saying, "I'm not taking it anymore. I'm calling you out for the crap father you are." And yeah, in the moment he's just like, he talks to Ozai, like, you challenged me, a kid, to Agni Kai. It was cruel. And he's like, it was to teach you respect. No. And it's just such a great dialogue there.
It's in our top moments. Zuko's, in our top episodes. It is we talk a lot about Zuko's character arc, and this is the sort of pinnacle of where his arc turns. Is right here. It's definitely the breaking point, so to speak. It is a huge shift in momentum in the rest of the series. Like, there's no other single set of episodes you could point to where you get this kind of drastic turn.
Yeah, definitely true.
Tremendous episode. It gets way more predictable after this. Anything else to say on Day of Black Sun?
I guess, Aang. What was like Aang pretty much does. He has another loss, right? And that's big. I like how Aang takes the loss. Is that he takes it pretty hard.
He's not like Ash Ketchum, but he loses sometimes.
Yeah. He wins way more than Ash. At least in the big moments. Ash has won plenty, but
his percentage is worse than Aang's. That's for sure. Yeah, go watch Day of Black Sun. Like I said, if I could do it over, it would certainly be my number 2 episode. But gotta hold my rankings accountable. And then the top one is
I was gonna lie and say is the headband. No, it's
it was Nightmares and Daydreams is what it was. It's, number one.
Nightmares and Daydreams.
I'm a little surprised it didn't crack, but there's not a lot of bad episodes in this season. I'm kind of curious. I don't really remember what do you think our number 15s were? Probably one of the really early ones.
Yeah.
I don't know. They don't matter. All that matters right now is SOZIN'S COMET. Sure, it gets
number 1.
4 episodes to work with. 1. I didn't know until you told me, though, that they were essentially sort of gifted the 4th episode. And, like I complained about the Boiling Rock, like episode 1, they didn't do a whole lot. It's like this episode, there's 4 episodes of stuff, and you couldn't take a piece out of it. There's no way you could make this smaller and not have a serious impact difference. It's a made-for-TV movie that's amazing.
Yeah, it definitely felt like a made-for-TV movie. To me, this is the best finale of a show. Like, this is the best ending of a story, of a fantasy story. Like, whether that's Star Wars. I honestly need to rewatch Lord of the Rings. I really want to, but the first time I watched it, I was really bored. Sorry, people. But I was younger then. I was like in high school.
I don't think you come off of Lord of the Rings. I'm a big Lord of the Rings fan. I don't think you come off Lord of the Rings with the same high that you come off of this though.
Okay.
Just my opinion. it's great though. Lord of the Rings is up there for me.
Yeah, I really do need to rewatch it. I have it on Blu-ray, the trilogy. I haven't. It's an ordeal.
It's a commitment. Yeah, it is a time commitment. Now I got Merry and Pippin stuck in my head since we were talking about social issues earlier. You brave little hobbits. What else do you say? Yeah, in our episode about SOZIN'S Comet, we split it up into twos, and I think your exact words were like, it's the greatest finale. It's exactly what you want a finale. Greatest finale of all time. And then your second one kind of caught me off guard, though. It was Scrubs season 8.
Yeah.
Which
yes, season 8.
That's sort of like going for a cartoon show made for kids but actually loved by adults to a live action show, quote unquote, for adults, but actually with a more childish sense of humor.
You should watch Scrubs.
I probably will Scrubs? At some point. No, not.
You love Scrubs.
I've seen enough to know that I would enjoy it. Yeah. Like, I've never watched any of it consistently in any order. Couldn't tell you what service it's on, but I know I would enjoy it. It's my kind of show. I bet my wife would like it too, actually.
Not to shame our podcast, but so Donald Faison and Zach Braff, who are the main characters of Scrubs, like in the last month or so, have started their own podcast, just reviewing episodes, and it's it's like what we do, sort of, but it's way funnier. It's hilarious. Like, I'm just mowing the yard, cracking up, listening to it because they just shoot. You know, they're just talking. They are like really close friends, like really close.
That's awesome.
Like, and it's always good to hear like a show you love that the people who worked on it were actually really close, and like they were. Like, they had people on from the show, they talk about it, and they had the most recent episode. They had the showrunner's wife on because she was a character on the show, and that's always funny because like on the show she sleeps with JD, the main character, and like the dynamic they have with each other, the friendship they have with each other is just so hilarious. It's the best podcast I've listened to.
So
this is probably the third best.
We're in my top 10. I don't know. We're in my top 10. I listen to a ton of podcasts. It's tough racket out there. What are the names of the two characters? It's JD and
JD and Turk.
And they have
by Zach Braff and Donald Faison.
And they have the podcast.
Yeah, the podcast is called Fake Doctors, Real Friends.
That's adorable. Well, there's passing resemblance there to us as well, except for talented and rich and famous.
Yeah.
We're almost done with Psych, and then I was actually trying to convince my wife to come watch Avatar: The Last Airbender again. Like, we always have a show that we watch during dinner. Essentially every day we eat dinner, we watch one episode or whatever. And so I was going to try to get her to watch Avatar: The Last Airbender again, but she said that was stupid because I literally just finished watching it. But we're almost done with Psych. I don't know if Scrubs is out there on one of those services.
It's on Hulu.
On Hulu? Okay. Well, watchable then. So we'll check it out. But not until we're done talking about SOZIN'S Comet. I just don't even know what else to say about SOZIN'S Comet. It's my favorite episode.
A couple highlights
of a television show.
The acting between Azula and Zuko is jaw-droppingly amazing. Like, it's so beautiful. Such great storytelling. Just a great job done there. And then, of course, the Aang versus Ozai fight is such an interesting fight because there's two fights kind of in one. And a lot of good storytelling going on there. Not as direct storytelling, but if you really look at it, there's some good storytelling going on.
If you could put it into a made-for-TV movie, like, it would probably be among my favorite movies. It's a beautiful pinnacle of the show. It's what we deserved. There was no Game of Thrones let down at the end here or any of that nonsense.
Nope.
It is the finale the show deserved. It's great. Go watch it. You know what? It's almost worth watching the entire show just so that you can appreciate this episode and everything that comes together in it. I mean, we would tell you to watch the show anyway, but just to sort of fully get the impact of how much this episode accomplishes in 88 minutes or something. It's great.
Yeah.
That's all I got to say about that. I've got an aggregate list of top 10, which is, fairly well resembles what we have. A Painted Lady was number 10. There was a lot of ties. For the ties, I honest to goodness just picked whatever you had higher because your ratings always make more sense to me. So the Painted Lady, SOKKA'S Master was fairly high on yours, so it did scrape our... It was like, I want to say it was 12 on yours. So it scraped by. Western Air Temple, the Puppet Master, the Firebending Masters, the Southern Raiders. Again, that was really close on mine with good ratings, so it was able to get that. It surprised me it was that high, but got there.
Yeah.
Boiling Rock, the Avatar and the Firelord. Little surprised, but it's just because I dinged the Boiling Rock so hard. Maybe a good decision, I don't know. Good or bad. Day of Black Sun, SOZIN'S Comet. Not a whole lot of surprise there. Again, I was probably too hard on that first episode of the Boiling Rock, but that's alright. Avatar and the Firelord. I wish I could remember more of how that one went. I feel like I'm just remembering tiny bits and pieces. I know I liked the dichotomy of Aang and Zuko both learning so much expositional material.
Yeah.
But
man, after seeing this, there's a couple different filler episodes in here, and like going into season 3, I thought the filler episodes would kind of take it down a notch compared to season 2. But we had the Painted Lady, SOKKA'S Master, the Puppet Master. A lot of masters in this. SOKKA'S Master, the Puppet Master, the Firebending Masters.
If you don't mind waiting a sec, I'm going to see if I can pull up the whole... Because I want to see what episodes are missing. Again, there's only like 6 episodes that aren't technically included in here. So if you don't mind waiting...
Yeah. No, what's in the... I guess what's all of season 3?
Yeah.
Or what's in the worst or whatever.
Let's give it a look here. I'm sure... So, The Awakening... I feel like that was really high on yours. Like, close. The Headband, neither one of us liked the Headband. Painted Lady, SOKKA'S Master, The Beach, Avatar, Firelord, The Runaway, neither one of us. Then, yeah. Okay, so The Runaway so far and The Headband are 2 that we didn't care about. Nightmares and Daydreams was good in a weird way. Day of Black Sun, Western Air Temple, Firebending Masters, Boiling Rock, Southern Raiders, Ember Island Players, SOZIN'S Comet. So it just feels like a shorter season, but I'd say out of that group, The Headband and The Runaway we didn't care for, and Nightmares and Daydreams kind of weird, but I don't think we didn't like Nightmares and Daydreams.
Yeah. No, I like it. I can not watch it and be perfectly content.
Yeah, you don't miss... It's funny for all the other anime references. I'm not huge into other anime, but I still can appreciate some good meta humor. So, yeah, not a ton of surprises there. At some point, we will take like average score on a per episode basis of book 3 and we'll compare it to book 2. I think all of us agree that book 1's the least...
book 1 might be a dark horse.
It's exposition.
I doubt it because the Great Divide...
It's going to drag it down.
Yeah, and Bado of the Water Tribe is going to drag that down.
Yeah, so
the Water Being a Scroll, I don't think we held that high up.
I probably liked it more than you, but I don't remember liking it rating wise a whole lot. So it's exposition.
But I hate when people say like, people have their own opinions, but when people say like, oh yeah, there's no episode of Legend of Korra that's better. I heard someone say that there's no, and like people, bigger YouTubers than me, because I'm not a big YouTuber, say like, yeah, I don't think there's a single episode of Korra that I like better than Avatar. That I think. Not like they said that I think is better than Avatar. I'm like,
better than any episode? Whoa, better than any episode of Avatar?
Yeah, it's something to that effect.
What?
And I'm like what? What?
There are at least there are like 4 or 5 episodes of Avatar that you could throw out, and I wouldn't even remember that they were gone.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Great Divide I would know, but I'd be happy.
The thing about Legend of Korra is that most of them are very necessary for the story. It's a very continuous story within the season itself.
What's the word for that? Very serial. Like this is a serial. I keep pointing the wrong way. This is a serial show, but Korra probably more so, more like a a very interdependent soap opera of sorts.
Yeah. That's fine. Legend Core, which is why I think a live action Legend Core would do it really well. Because to me, it's more like current shows on right now.
Like it'd be like an HBO drama almost. Like it's got that sense of inter-episode or episode interdependency. I am going to predict that the Book 3 Fire episodes are going to rate out higher. Just there's fewer of them. There's fewer really bad episodes, so nothing's going to drag down our 10 out of 10 SOZIN'S Comet. You know, like nothing's going to drag that down far enough to compete with some of the filler in Book 2. That's just a prediction. But the more I think about the quantity, 16 episodes, and one of them's a 10 out of 10, out of 10, out of 10, out of 10. No. It'd be hard to drag that down. But we will do that. That'll be a lot of fun. We'll pull like an extra long episode that day. We'll get the popcorn out, and we'll go episode by episode. Presumably just aggregate scores. We can keep some fun footnotes about who hated this one but loved this one, so it made it average. Do some of that.
Yes, nonsense. we won't do your number 61 and my number 61.
Ain't nobody got time for that. That is a long. No, we'll do aggregates, and we'll keep some fun footnotes about the ones where we had big disparities or things like that. And that's all I got for this one. That's top 10 Book 3 episodes. We're finished with Book 3. And thanks for sticking with us for some of these kind of in-between episodes, in-between seasons. But I'm getting really excited to start watching Korra. So as much fun as this is, I feel like I'm being teased at this point. It's about time. Anyway, thank you very much for joining me, Chris. Hope everything's well with you. And fans and friends of the show, thank you as well. We will talk to you next week.